So what are the major difference between East Coast Florida and West Coast Florida in 2022? So if you're moving to Florida in 2022 and you're confused which area would be the great place to start, then this video will give you tons of information.
I was worried you broke my reputation, but I figured it's not on me. Yeah. The way you're making me shiver, your hands on myself, I keep pulling the trigger right. This very finger for people like them. Oh no. Well, darling, on my mind, I'm feeling so fly up in the zone now. I'm like a golden crown, whirling high up in the sky. Oh, it's the way you make me feel so good, right now. It's the way you make me feel so good.
This is Komal Acharya. I live in East Coast, Florida. I live in very close to Miami. I love this area. But definitely there is a difference between living in East Coast and West Coast. We do a lot of vacation on the West Coast. So I'm going to break down some of the facts. Maybe you haven't heard, or some facts are very common. You can find in Google search. But this is my personal experience also I'm sharing with this video. So West Coast, it's the Gulf of Mexico. East Coast has Atlantic Ocean. So major difference, both of them has a beach. So the water is more warm actually in the Gulf of Mexico than Atlantic Ocean. Also the sand is very fine sand, and the white sand you may find on the West Coast. And that's why a lot of retirees love West Coast. I mean, you will see a lot of snowbirds living in the West Coast. West Coast has a very different feel than East Coast area. So all depends on what's your goal. That will give you some kind of direction which area would be great. So let's more break down the beach lifestyle. Okay, so West Coast has more quieter beach lifestyle. If you love fishing, if you love snorkeling, then West Coast is great. And if you love surfing, if you love cosmopolitan lifestyle, then East Coast has a lot of things to offer, because on a beach, I mean, Atlantic Ocean has a lot of surf. So you have a lot of the options to go for the surfing if you come on the East Coast. Again, in perspective of the vacationing, I personally like West Coast because it's more quieter, relaxed, and the water is pretty much very much warm. The sand is not that sticky, and I feel, this is my personal opinion, comment me below if you are living on West Coast and if you find the same every month, because the time when I go there, I usually found it's more cleaner beach. Like you can even see the bottom, you can see the fishes sometimes in the Gulf of Mexico. But on Atlantic Ocean, I tried so many beaches, but it's not so great feeling to go into the water because it's all dirty, and it's a more it's a cloudy water most of the beaches have. More further you go north, I found it's a little more better beach than more souther. So the Miami beach is one of the very famous South Beach, but I personally do not like South Beach a lot because of these reasons. So correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Maybe when I'm going, I don't find the comfort which I'm looking for. So if you're moving with kids, and you want more lively feeling, more city feel, then East Coast has a better cities versus the West Coast. Like you could go into the Miami, Fort Lauderdale. The suburb areas also are very beautiful in East Coast. On the West Coast, it's more like, I think so, it's more about the retirement audience, who wants to retire there, who wants to have a vacation condos or snowbirds. Then West Coast is more favorable. You may see that after 7 o'clock, there is nobody on the road. Like whenever we go in Naples, we take a lot of vacation in Naples and Marco Island. It's very hard to find open store after 7 o'clock. Starbucks also get closed very early there. So overall lifestyle is very quieter. You may not find too many people in the restaurants. It doesn't even have varieties of the restaurant. That's what I found. If you go in East Coast, you have a multicultural environment. You would hear Spanish a lot here, but you would hear a Middle Eastern language, Russian, French, Venezuelan. So a lot of different kinds of language you will see in the air. So if your kids going into school, they are more having the culture of the multicultural environment on the East Coast if you're living. Now let's talk about the city wise. What are the cities you would find, the main cities of this both areas? So let's say you are going to West Coast, the Naples is great, the Marco Island is great. If you go further north, the Tampa is still on the West Coast. It says Tampa is more, I don't consider it as a West Coast, but it's still kind of towards West Coast, but it's more central. So Tampa, Orlando, it has a different feel than even what we talked about more, the beach comparison and beach life comparison. So Tampa, Orlando, more for the kids, it's amazing because there's a lot of parks there. The houses are newer in the Tampa, Orlando area. A lot of new construction you would find. If you would like to know more about Tampa, Orlando, let me know. You can comment me or you can text me. So Tampa, Orlando all has a different feel than what both areas what we are talking about. If you go further north, then it's like a Jacksonville. Then the oldest town, St. Augustine, comes there. So that's all gives more native feelings. A lot of natives lives there a lot. So you won't find too much multicultural there, but a lot of native people living there. On the East Coast, if you are in, a lot of options here. You have Miami, Fort Lauderdale. If you live in the suburb, there are a lot of towns called Weston, Parkland. Also, if you go further north, West Palm Beach, Stewart, Riviera Beach, that's another new town. West Park, that's a very brand new town you can find in East Coast. Fort Myers, that's kind of on the west side, however, but I do like the Port St. Lucie on the east side, which is almost similar pricing there, both of the towns, and both are the kind of new towns. And if you don't like a lot of city life also, let's say too much people around, you don't like it, those two are great option. A lot of people like more on the west side Cape Coral. That's I've seen a lot of people moved from South Florida to Cape Coral because the prices are more affordable there versus here, even though it has a beach lifestyle. Here, even though you want to live in a beach, you're still paying for the cost because the South Florida market is always has been higher than other areas what we are talking about. Even though you compare to Orlando market, South Florida per square foot prices are always been higher. South Florida on east side especially, it's more considered cosmopolitan. A lot of startup companies are coming here. After California, a lot of them are starting up in Miami. So we see a lot of relocation happen in 2021. So 2022, I feel it's still one of the famous, relocation town you would find in South Florida east side area. Another piece I would like to add is, if you're moving with the kids, then definitely the schools needs to be considered. So if you live actually on the beach, then the schools are very questionable. A lot of people put their kids into private school otherwise, but there are some options, good options in a suburb. So West Coast schools have a lot of mixed ratings too. So both areas on a school wise, I feel like East Coast has better choices than West Coast. Central, which talk about the Orlando has a great schooling system too. But again, in overall in Florida, one flaw, I feel like not too many cities has the A rating schools, public schools I'm talking about. There are great private schools, there are great universities, there are great charter schools, but I have heard from my clients, I don't have personal experience, but let's say the New York has so many options for the great schools. So that you may find less in South Florida, is a little bit of struggle. So you do have to have a correct professionals, who can guide you which area would be great. We help a lot of relocation clients, and that's number one question from any families we get is like, okay, which are the great schools? And that depends on that we decide where do we live. And I always suggest, it's better to choose a school first because you will always have a travel anywhere you live in Florida. Florida public transportation is very poor. And you may have to adjust, mentally also about the travel. If you're living in east side, I-95, it's pretty much you will be using. If you live on the west coast, then I-75 pretty much you will be using. And 75 is very much quieter. And that's what will tell the whole story, which I'm talking about. West coast is more quieter, less traffic, less stuff you see around. East is you do get some city feel, plus the beach lifestyle, because there are a lot of beaches on East Coast. So again, it depends on your goal, what you want to do, but a lot of varieties you will find in Florida. So check out my some other videos where I'm breaking down the areas, and if you have any kind of suggestions you want me to talk about specific area, comment me below. I would love to talk to you. Take care.